Help me, Frank, help me, Frank, help me, Frank, Frank, Frank. Help me, Frank, help me, Amy, help me, Matt. Help me today. Help me, Frank, Frank, Frank. Frank, Frank, Amy, roll Frank. Amy love Frank, Amy roll up love Frank. Frank, 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 Amy roll up love Frank. Love Frank. Frank went to the county jail. Frank, 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 Frank gonna Amy roll up into Mac roll off town today. Sitting home, sitting in his bathtub. Frank, 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 Frank. She don't Frank, she go back with Frank. Amy roll up, go with Frank. She love Frank. Frank, Frank, Frank. Amy Roloff, go back to Matt Roloff. Little Hal, sit in his bathtub. Frank, 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 Frank. Frank, Frank, Frank. Frank got mad, dump Amy Roloff. Frank, Frank, Frank. Frank, Frank, Frank. Frank get angry with Amy Roloff. Amy Roloff went back to her. Holly How, Amy Roll, get into my roll bathtub. Matt roll up, get into Amy roll up to how, and sneak in the house. Put in her bathtub. Frank, 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 Frank.